So in this part of the videos, I would like to show you how to sew up your knitted squares. In the making up part, in the last part of the knit along, you will get a diagram of how to sew up everything. I have joined you can join the panels in whichever order you please. I joined them first vertically, then horizontally. I just find it easier. And all of them have been joined with mattress stitch. So let me show you how to work mattress stitch on the sides and on tops. For this, you will need your tapestry needle with your yarn fed through the eye. So this is the yarn that you have been working on. You can choose whichever color you wish. If we do it correctly, the color will not show on the right side. So you will also need a little safety pin. We will work the mattress stitch on the right side of our work. So we will take our safety pin and just pin the two top ends of the square. Just pinned here. And we will start right at the bottom here. Let me bring the camera down a little bit so you can see it a lot better. See, so now you should be able to see a lot better what I am doing. Before we start, we need to join our panels together. So we're going to do this by inserting our needle from back to front into the first stitch of a cast on edge. Pull it through. Not leave yourself a bit of a tail so you have enough for weaving in ends, and do the same on the other side, and again going from back to front. So that would kind of this kind of creates a bit of a loop, so it joins it nicely together. So for a successful mattress stitch, we need to go kind of a one stitch in. So if you look at your work, you will see bumps. You see on your edge, your garter stitch provided you with lots of bumps. So there is this bump right here on the edge, and there is one bump here. This is the bump we really want. This is the bump we want to work into throughout the whole sewing up on both sides. So if you insert your needle under this bump, you will see that this bump has two strands. So there is the bump that kind of goes downwards, and there is one underneath it as well. So there is two strands to each bump, and this is what we want to grab. So we want our work to be, we want our sewing up to be nice and steady. So we're going to go into the bump that faces downwards, insert our needle into the both strands, into the top one and the one underneath it. But because our yarn is here, we're going to start on this square. So again, you see, bump faces downwards. We're going to insert our needle under this bump. So that's the very first bump and the one underneath it. Grab your yarn and pull it through. And work exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to work bump by bump. Okay, and again, you see, bump down here, it faces downwards. We're gonna insert it underneath it and grab the strand behind it as well. Sometimes, well, this one is low actually. So underneath it and the strand there as well. Oops. And we're going to do this on the other side. So you have to do it each stitch by stitch, basically. So bump by bump. See, underneath here. And into the next one. See, each bump. And now when you work through, what you have to do is tug on your ends and tighten it, you see? And it beautifully disappears. And now we have a beautiful and invisible joint. So when you spread it out, you can't even see it. So when you really stretch out, you can't even see it. And we also have a very nice we also have a very nice and neat seam at the back. So this is the perfect way of sewing up our squares. So just continue until your whole square is finished. So when we reach the top here, you can now take off your safety pin. The reason we put that safety pin is because when we are sewing up, it stops our panels from shifting. So it ensures that we will have a nice and even edge on top. So one of them will not be longer than the other. So now you will either add more panels on top and sew up, or if you would like to finish, you will insert your needle, so on the opposite, so wherever you finish, to the opposite panel, into the stitch of the custom edge, and on the other side, just to tie them together nicely, and weave in your end into the seam. So I usually do 3 stitches down, well, 3 times down. So 1, 2, and 3. Make sure it doesn't pucker up, and 3 up. And that's it. And of course, weaving the end at the bottom in the same way. And that is your squares joined. So now let me show you how to do it on the top edge. So on the top edge of your panel, you will join your panels with your cast off edge and cast on edge. So this time we're going to go into the 2 legs of the stitch. So if you look at your cast off edge and move it out of the way a little bit, you will see that each stitch has 2 legs to it. So this is what we are going to grab when we are sewing up the top edges. The same is on the cast on edge. See, if you move it out of the way a little bit, you will see that each stitch has 2 legs. And this is what we need to grab. So to start, we need to join them first, again from back to front. Join the 2 edges. Because our yarn is here, we're going to start on the opposite side. So look for the legs of your first stitch. Insert your needle, pull it through. Again, leave yourself a bit of a tail for weaving in, and repeat this on the other side. Again, find your stitch, find the 2 legs of this stitch, and insert your needle and pull it through. And now you have to do this stitch by stitch. 2 legs here, and 2 legs here. Two legs and 2 legs on the opposite side. You see? And stitch by stitch, you join them all together. It does go incredibly quickly, so don't get discouraged. It is actually a very quick way of sewing up. Once you get into the swing of things, it goes very quickly. And again, you see, you can already see a lovely and invisible edge, but pull it a bit tighter. It gives you just a gorgeous edge, and this is exactly what we want. And again, continue all the way onto your next panel or however you wish. Okay, so this is the sewing up, and now let me show you how to pick up and knit for the edging. So the edge, it's a beautiful garter stitch edge. It's very simple and it's done in 4 parts. So you will pick up and knit your edge on the long side and then on the top and bottom edge, and then you join them at the corners. You just sew up at the corners, so it spreads out nicely. It doesn't pucker up or anything, but it's a lovely edge, and each side of the blanket is done separately. So let me show you how to do this on a small sample. So on the longer edges, we need to pick up 198 stitches, which is 33 stitches per panel. We're going to pick up 3 stitches, miss 1 row. So basically we're treating each row as a stitch. So we're going to pick up 3 rows, miss 1 row, 3 rows, miss 1 row. And we're going to do that for 11 times. So you always pick up your stitches on the right side. So with your right side facing and right here at the bottom, insert your needle into the edge, into your cast on stitch, right there on the edge. Grab your yarn with which you will be working the edge, place it on your needle and pull the loop through. Okay? So leave the tail there, you would use it for weaving in. So for successful pickup, we're going to insert our needle under 2 strands of our stitch and pull it through. So that's 1, 2, you see we're grabbing 2 strands. That way we have a far more secure edge. 2 and 3. And we're going to miss this one and pick up in next. So 1, 2, let's go through 2 and 3. Miss 1 and 1. Make sure it's 2 strands. Let's go for the one at the back. Two and 3 and miss 1. See, so 1, 2 and 3 and miss 1. 1, 2 3 and miss 1. 1, 2, oops, and 3 and miss 1. So this one we are missing. So then we're gonna go bump, 1, 2 and 3. You see? You can see what it looks like now. So we're picking up all the stitches here. So 1, 2 and 3. Miss this one. 1, oops, 2 so now we are at the end, so we've got, and 1 will be just here underneath. And that's how it looks. So now all we have to do is knit in according to our pattern and cast off. So I'll meet you here when I finish this side. What I forgot to mention, that on the next row, so when you do your wrong side row, so you knit on the wrong side row, on the next row you need to increase. So on the right side row you increase on the corners of your edging. So you're going to knit the first stitch and you're going to increase by making 1. So to make 1, if you look at your work, you've got a strand of yarn running in between the needles. You're going to pick up the strand with your right hand needle, so from front to back, and you will slip it onto the left hand needle. You see? So your loop is positioned in this way. So this is the long strand and this is the loop. So the loop is going to your left. And now what you're going to do is you are going to knit into the back of the stitch. So with your needle, insert your needle into the back loop of that stitch. Yarn around and pull it through. So this is your increase. So that will make our edge increase, which will lie nice and flat around our edges. Okay, let me finish this edge. So when you finish casting off, make sure you leave yourself a bit of a tail for sewing up the corners. But when you finish, so your edge should look like this. You see you've got increases on both sides here. Now, to do it on a top edge, it works in almost identical way, but this time on a top and a bottom edge, we need to pick up 124 stitches all the way along, which is 31 stitches per panel. And again, you pick up 3 stitches, you miss one. You do it 10 times, and then you pick up the last stitch. So again, to pick up a knit. So I'm gonna show you, it works both. It works in the same way on a cast off or a cast on edge. So on the top edge here, we're going to insert our needle under the 2 loops of our stitch. Grab your yarn, place it on a needle and pull it through. Okay? And now, so we've got pick up 3 and miss 1. This is very easy now because your stitches are very visible. So you see you've got this beautiful V's here. So that's 1 into our stitch, into the 2 legs of the stitch, yarn around and pull it through. 1, 2, 3 and miss 1. So 1, 2, 3 and miss 1. And again, continue to do this until the whole edge is worked. 1, 2 and 3, and then work into your last stitch. And this is how it looks after you pick it up. And of course, again, you need to work your garter stitch edge with the increases on each side. So when you finish this edge, make sure you don't cast off too tightly because you want your edge to have a bit of a stretch to it. Again, leave yourself a bit of a tail before you cut your yarn because that will be used for sewing up your little corners. Pull it through. And now, obviously you will do the other edges, but I won't. I just want to show you how to sew it up. So with this long tail, grab your tapestry needle, feed this yarn through, join the edges. So you've got your yarn already here, join it on the other side to your very first stitch. And again, do it with the mattress stitch, but this time going on the edge because we don't want to eat into our edge at all because it's going to be a little bit smaller if we do. So we're gonna just go into a bump. So into the very first, make sure you pull up 2 strands of the bump and not just one. So the one and the one underneath, just to give us more steadier work. And again, we're gonna do this here as well. Oh, that will do. And in here. Here. Now we are on this side, pull it on the other side and pull it all the way through. Make sure before you sew up to give it a bit of a tuck so it's nice and loose so it doesn't pucker up, and then just weave in your end into the edge, into the seam. One, oops. And that's it. Make sure you give a bit of a tug on the edge here so it doesn't pucker up. But that's it. This is your edge. When you are doing your final block or your final seam, make sure you place a pin in the corners so it's nicely pointed. So when you give it the seam, it will stay this way. Okay? Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos and I hope you enjoy making the crochet along. It's been such a pleasure designing it and sharing it with you now. So please do like, share share and subscribe. Please do share your makes online with us on your social medias, on your Instagrams and Facebook. Do tag West Yorkshire Spinners and me, Anna Nikipirowicz. Thank you so much.